Hi, it's Miss Paredes, and we are going to be finishing up our tie-dye watercolor flowers. One thing I forgot to mention in the last video was if you want to keep your petals like this, you can, or you can do kind of a little petal inside each one to make an outline, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm going to make a curved line inside of each petal that follows the line of your big petal, like this. And that's just like a little extra bonus if you'd like. You can totally skip this part. Remember, if it's going off the page, we'll make it look like it's going off the page. There we go. Now again, that's just like a little something extra you can do, an extra step just in case that's something that you might want to do. Now I have my cup of water, I have my paper towel or my napkin just in case of any spills. I have my watercolor paint tray. I'll put that right here. And I have my paintbrush. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to think about my color scheme. I'm going to dip my brush in the water. I like to wipe off the side just a little bit so it's not soaking wet. And I'm going to go in with my first color. I usually like to go with my lightest color. So if you plan on using yellow, you're going to add some water to that yellow. And you're going to decide where you put it. Now if I start putting my color in the front, I want to keep adding some water so as it goes down it becomes a little more translucent or a little more see-through. See how this is a brighter yellow and over here is a little more see-through yellow? And how we're going to make it a tie-dye is you pick your next color. Let's say I'm going to do red here. I'm going to go in with that red and I'm going to add a little extra water and bring it up here. I'm going to bring it up and blend it into my other color. Now some great color combinations for our tie-dye flowers can be reds and yellows, orange, yellows and greens, yellows and blues. So our goal here is whatever color we choose, and let's just not pick a random color, but let's really think about what we're going to do. I have my blue kind of blend into my red. So I really packed in that color, that's a nice bright blue, and I'm going to use extra water to blend it up to this red. And what happens? What color is mixing up here? Got a nice purple going on. Got a nice purple. So this is how it wants to look with our tie-dye. If there's ever a straight line across like this, they're not really blending well, I can easily just add a little more water and blend them together. I think I'll finish off this part of the petal with some green. And just like before, you add some water to your paint. You really pack in that color, make it bright, and then you're going to go in with some water. I think it's so satisfying how the watercolor changes over here. Every time I dip it into something new, it changes into something different. I think that's so fun. I'm going to add green on this side. And again, you don't have to do the same color scheme that I'm doing. I'm kind of doing my color wheel order, or rainbow order, as some of you might call it. But you could do warm colors, cool colors, and you could do something different for each petal. I'm going to finish up these part of the petals, and I will show you what I've done in just a moment. So I finished the outer section of my petals. If you decided to do that, just start working on the middle. You can add something different, a little different color scheme if you only want to do warm colors, cool colors, if you want to do different blues and greens, or if you just want to do yellow and blue. That's up to you. You think of the color scheme. If you just did the whole petal, then you're done with this part. And let's move on to the next part. Now that all of my petals are done, I want to move on to the center of my flower. Again, think about your color scheme and really think about those colors that you're going to use together. Looks like my water is getting pretty murky, so I'm going to actually change out my water and I'm going to finish these little sections up. Pause this video if you need more time, and I'll see you in just a moment. Now that my flower portion is completed, I've done my petals and I've done the center of my flower, I can go ahead in and do my background. If you want to do your background in a solid watercolor, that might be a good idea because you don't want the background to make the actual flower kind of get lost. So if you want to go in with your watercolor and do one color in the background, choose whatever color you'd like, you can. You could also use crayons or colored pencils or markers to do the background as well. I think I'm going to do yellow. Let's see how this looks. I really like how mine turned out, and I hope you like the way your turned out too. I can't wait to see your finished work.